It's day 73. I'm still working on this assemblage. We're getting it dialed in. So I think you saw yesterday I sorted, or just a minute ago, I sorted through some of these nails. I realized that making ones that were shorter and would fit in here just meant they were too short. But if I got them where they were slightly longer, I can put them at well, that's not the best example, but I can put them at an angle and get them to fit in there. So I will be gluing those in, but I want something in the background. I kind of want to add a little of the moss, I think up here in this corner, just to continue it. And I posted on Instagram that I felt like something more was needed, and I had several suggestions for this area. One was to do like a wire wrapping on this. No, I can't. That's not my skill set. But somebody else suggested that maybe I bring some kind of ribbon or something else that's the colors from over here to over here. So I'm considering adding like a ribbon or something here. And I do know that I want to age this a little bit. There's something that's so shiny and new about it, and I feel like I really want to give it some age. So I also want to put something in here. And I think it's going to be more buttons. Maybe. I'm thinking of gluing some of these like bigger ones in here somehow. Like maybe 3 of them. Is that one more that's that size? It's too big. What if I put the too big one in the middle? Yeah, I may do that. We'll see how that works. Because I will be gluing it to the moss. So I'm wondering how that will work. Might have to. How would I manage that? So I'm thinking on this, because if I glue it to the moss, that could become unstable as opposed to gluing it to a surface in here. But I do like how that looks. Okay. I'm going to get to at least doing some of those things for today. I did another poor job of introducing myself and this. Hi, I am Hope here at Crafty Hope. I am sharing videos of my 100-day project that I did back, oh gosh, y'all, this is probably May that I worked on these sections. But I did a not precious project in which I took items from my stash that I had resisted working with because they felt too precious, and worked with them. In this case, it was that beautiful crochet dress, which I have recently found out is a pot holder. So anyway, it looks like a doll's dress. That's what I've been calling it. This is the third part of creating this assemblage, and it is day 73 of the 100-day project. So I'm getting there in that last quarter or so of this project. So you saw I was fiddling with some ideas of things, and I had those buttons, and I decided what I wanted to do instead of gluing them to the moss was to glue them to one of these little wood cubes. They're from the Dollar Tree, and I thought that painting them would be the right way to kind of approach this. So I painted them with some white gesso on several of the sides, on at least sides that I thought would show. And then I'm going over that with some moss green. So, I decided, because some of these big white buttons are transparent-ish, to keep the side that the buttons are going to be actually glued to that white, because I wanted, I wanted that to still be kind of white and not that green for some reason. Yeah. But the other sides that I felt like we're going to show are going to be, going to be this Americana moss green color. So you understand how painting goes. I left all this in here so I could give this bit of an introduction. I'm sorry that I didn't do a better job at the start of the video, but when I recorded all this, I wasn't real sure how I was going to break down these videos. As you can see, I added a little bit of a darker green in there. I'm not sure that. I believe it's a Martha Stewart paint, maybe in green apple or something like that. It's something, the bottle of that broke or something. I had to put it in like a travel shampoo container. Now here is this is folk art, And I think it's just a standard brown. I put it in my little palette and watered it down quite a bit. And then I'm going to bring in, I decided I watered it down too much there. I'm going to bring in that doll's head. Oh, and see some black too. I'm doing some color mixing here, y'all, because I decided that brown wasn't as dark as I wanted. And so I added a little black to it. I'm going to bring that crown, the doll's head crown, in to age up her crown a little bit more, because if you've missed some of my other videos, I encourage you to go watch parts 1 and part 2. I will have links to those. I'll probably have part 1 in the upper right, but I'll put both parts down in the description box for y'all to get to if you haven't seen them yet. So, this crown just felt really disjointed, and the can itself is an old sterno can I fished. For some reason it was in our fire pit. I don't know why, if my husband used it as a fire starter or something at some point. I don't even remember, but I thought the can that remained was super neat, so that's what I used to kind of work with this assemblage a bit. But you can see I have taken that watered down brown paint, and I'm just going around it, wiping it off a little bit with what I think is a baby wipe. It could be just a paper towel. It looks like a baby wipe. And I don't want to push it all the way back so everything's brown, but I wanted it to just feel a little more distressed, match that crown, match that can a little bit more, because it is so brown and rusty and grungy yummy, and those other paints just felt, yeah. So here I'm using a towel to wipe it back instead of the baby wipe. And I think, yeah, you can see I'm trying to get into all those nooks and crannies, and this works nicely too, because excuse me, because the edges of all that, because it's laser cut, it's all brown and darkened as well. So once it was dry, once I was done, I did dry it, and I don't know why the light changed there. And then I come back in and am going to put in those blocks. I have found that, yeah, I can find little spots where the moss isn't adhered to the back of the box, and that works perfect for me to glue those cubes down. Now, can you see that middle button? You can absolutely see the block through it, and I was not super keen on that. And I don't know if you can notice, but I did the part where I'm adding my E6000 glue. I didn't paint that because I wanted can you see the wood that's there? I wanted a surface to surface contact. So that was great that I could work through some of that moss and get to the actual box back there, and I didn't paint my my little cubes. Now those cubes I just picked up from the Dollar Tree. I don't know what they're really intended for, but they work great for little projects like this to lift things. I was having a little bit of trouble getting everything to stick just the way I want. E6000 is great because you've got a little bit of working time with it. And that allowed me to kind of make sure I was getting that surface to surface connection that I wanted. And working in that little section down there, ooh, y'all, is a bit of a booger, because I've got tiny hands, but that's getting down in there. It was a bit of a pain. So I've got those in there where I want, and I've put a little bit of weight on it, y'all. That is a monkey pen holder that my mom gifted me years ago. Right now, I keep it to hold my Uhu on my desk. I think he's super cute. So I gave that a few minutes to make a bit of a connection. I don't know why I didn't clip some of this out. And I decided to go ahead and grab my tacky glue, which is what I use to adhere the moss over on that bottom left side. So yeah, I'm grabbing it again to get in that upper right. Like I said in that poor introduction that I wanted to continue that across the box. So I'm using this, I believe it's reindeer moss. I picked it up at the Dollar Tree, but as of late, I have been having a hard time finding any more. I want more of it, and I know I could probably go to Michael's or some other craft store and get some, but when I can find it at the dollar store, Yeah, I'm a thrifty girl. So anyway, I'm pressing that in there. As you can see, I've mostly used my fingers. I probably could have used a paintbrush, but yeah, I'm just trying to get a bit of moss and age up in there in that other area. I like that the depth of that left side, it's kind of deep and all that, and the moss was just kind of perfect up in there. All right, once I have my moss kind of sitting there to dry, I am pulling out some. This is a recycled cotton ribbon that I picked up from Paper Cat's studio. I will try to put a link to her below. She and her son create this. They dye fabric and he tears it down. And yeah, I thought that blue was absolutely perfect, and I just happened to have that on hand. So I tied a little bow there. I will trim it later so it's even and not as dangly, but I don't think I did that on camera. So I just made a little bow, went through the loop that I had up there, and that helps hide some of that messy loop, that messy wrap I had going on up there. So I'm coming back now that things have dried with my buttons, and I've got a little piece of fabric here that I am going to glue behind that button, because like I said, I didn't like that you could see that cube shape so well through this button, and it needed, I suppose I could have just painted the back of the button and that, but at the time that didn't occur to me. I wanted something soft feeling, so in my head fabric was the way to go. For some reason I'm cutting a little hole in the middle of it. Yeah, I don't remember why I was doing that. I guess so some of that same color was poking through. Oh no, it was so my button would make an actual contact with the with the cube. That's what it was. I wanted a little bit of hole so that when I glued the button down, it would have contact with that cube. That's what it was. Oh my goodness, y'all. I have reasons behind things. Sometimes I just can't remember what they were. It takes me a little bit, but I know how my brain works. So I was looking for my E6000, I think, which was, already sitting on my desk, and I'm having to work with. I've got, y'all, the thing that I've got on that E6000 is it's a thing that you put on like toothpaste to help squeeze out all the toothpaste, and it works great on a big thing of E6000. The link that I'm going to have for you below for E6000 is going to be for the minis, which is really what I prefer to work with, so that it doesn't dry out or become so unmanageable. But if you've got a big thing of E6000, because that's going to be what's usually the easiest thing to find, those little toothpaste squeezer things work great on it. So as you can see, I am adding all of my little bits back on my buttons onto the cubes, trying to line them up pretty well. I wanted the holes. I was kind of using the holes as a level line on there. So getting them in there, and then comes the fiddliest bit of all of this. I think I'm going to speed this up pretty quickly because putting these nails in here was a booger. And as I mentioned, I am putting them in sideways. My head is going to be in this portion of the video on and off, because, well, yeah, I'm having to lean over and look at things. And I am going to put these nails in there kind of in layers, like I'm working on a back layer, and I will move it forward. And the way I'm doing these is I'm putting the E6000 on the top and the bottom of the nails, but there's not a whole lot of contact area there. So once I get them in, I may add a little more of the E6000 with I've got a toothpick that, I'm going to go in and then I come back later and kind of clean up any of the glue that's seeping around everything, because I really don't want that glue showing. So it's fiddly. It's super fiddly. I am, like I said, going to let you have a look at all of it, because, I figure most of y'all want to see. Of course, my head's going to be in part of it, and I do apologize for that. It's really hard to to not get in there trying to get over it. But I'm going to play some music for y'all while I do this fiddly bit. This is probably the longest portion of this whole video. At least this day was the longest portion of this third part. The next 2 days aren't near as long. So here's some music for you to enjoy while I fiddle with rusty nails. Day 74 and I am struggling, y'all. I'm fairly sure these dried securely. I'm pretty, oh no, that one may need a bit more glue. But I don't know how many people are going to be in here pushing on these the way I am. But I think this one might need, which one was it now? Okay. I'm struggling with a headache. I'm struggling with what to do. I got out a bunch of stuff this morning and messed around with it, and I don't know. And then I turned the camera on, and I'm like, isn't that pretty? And I don't know why. Yeah, I don't know. So, I do know I have these, I guess they're wood, angel wings. I picked them up in a state, so I think they're from Michael's, like maybe the dollar spot at Michael's or something, but they're old. And they're just some lightweight wood. I have traced them so that I can maybe make some on the laser cutter. For now, these work kind of perfectly here. As you can see, I love that. So those will get glued in. So none of this has been glued in yet. It was giving me the opportunity to like futz and play. I've been struggling with what to do over here. As you can see, I've pulled this out, which is a dollhouse wreath I got on clearance, and I've got a bunch of these little paper roses that I made from a die cut from Tim Holtz that I recently got. And what else do I have? I have this label that I have that I did laser cut that can be painted, and I was thinking putting it back here somehow so that it would hang behind that. And I mean, I could possibly do all of these things. I'm not sure at the moment. Like, everything sounds good. I'm thinking, looking at these flowers, I'm not quite sure how I would do them. I think I would have to pick out some colors specifically that might work. Like, I really liked this yellow one, but I only have one of those because it was like a sample of fabric of paper. Y'all, like I said, I've got a headache. I'm not thinking straight, so I'm wondering if this would even work. I'm scattering a bunch down here along with this. Oh, I don't know. That looks awful busy, doesn't it? Oof. See, I can see up here how it looks. So let's take maybe this out. I'm gonna say this. I got something twisted there. There. This would hang here. And I don't know if I want that. I don't know, y'all. Alright, let's take this out. So I'm going to play with this for a while. I've at least made the decision to add the wings, and it looks like I really do like this dollhouse wreath thing. So if I decide to do the flowers, that will take some time. Because, yeah. It's so hard to see. No, that one. Alright, I'm gonna make some decisions. Hopefully. And the decision I made was to create a bunch more of those flowers. So, but I wanted yellow ones, so that's what I'm doing. I'm kind of doing a master board of yellow using all kinds of stuff, y'all. You can see I've got like the watercolor crayons, and I've got different paints and distress sprays and distress oxides and other sprays. And I'm just, yeah, making a yellow, shades of yellow master board. I am really glad that I kept some of these talky parts in each day because, like I said, this is from like March, or not March, May, when I had no idea. You know, that's been months and months ago. That's like almost, is that 6 months ago? Let's see, March, April, May, June, July, August. Yes! That's like 6 months ago that I did this. So that's why I kept the talky parts. Because I talked through my process. I know what my mindset was on each of these days, so I could come back and tell you what I'm doing here. And apparently on that day, I was not feeling great. So I think this kind of busy project where I didn't have to think a whole lot and make a whole lot of decisions was exactly what I needed. So I am not going to include the entirety of me making this this masterboard-ish thing. Just know that I'm using these yellows and kind of orangey yellows, lots of different products and materials. I do some mark making with them. I just wanted something with this. It's not going to matter when it comes down to it, but it's, yeah. I just wanted you to see some of the process that I took to create it. You'll see it here in a minute. I'm going to dry this portion, come back, and here is my final product. So I go and grab the die cut that I have, which is a Tim Holtz vault, and I think it's like boutique something. I will have it in the description box below. It's one of his new releases from the vault or something. And I die cut the little spirally shapes and then spent a bit of time rolling them up and gluing them. And then I grabbed this bag of glass pearls that I picked up at an estate sale. Isn't that luscious? Y'all, I could just take a picture of that display of like pearls there. But anyway, these are like broken necklaces and things like that. That's what I love. I love to take things and salvage them and reuse them. So I am using a pair of tweezers and my E6000 to get some of the smaller pearls that are in there and put them right in the center of each of these flowers. And that's all I did on this day 74 was work on it. It was a long process. A lot of this you didn't get to see. But if you have that die, I encourage you to go check out Tim's tutorial on how to roll them. I'll try to maybe find that and link it as well. So we're gonna get to day 75. It is day 75. I have not completed this. I think the last thing you saw was me rolling or about to roll these up. I'm not positive what I showed y'all last. I added, maybe I showed y'all the pearls. I don't know. Oh, I did. I don't know how much of that sped through because it was a pretty tedious process. But it was a bag of pearls I had picked up at an estate sale last month, I think. And, well, by the time you see this, who knows what month. So I added those to the center just to, you know, kind of, I don't know, something in the center. None of this is glued down. This is just, and I had this here, like that, which I don't know why I like it on that side of her head so much, but I think I really like this pop up here in that corner. So I think this may be my layout. So none of this is glued. She's not, none of the wings are not, none of the flowers, none of this. I think that's going to be my task for today. And then, other than adding some kind of hanger on the back, this I think will be done. So that's, yeah, let's do that. Oh, I'm nervous because she's been such a work, and like putting her in and gluing her in makes me like so nervous. Precious. It's not precious, right? It's not precious. It's something that was precious to somebody else and they gave it to me to do something with, and this is what I'm doing. Okay, I'm gonna finish it. So this was really hard for me. Going back through and editing this, I was like, oh my gosh, I remember how hard, you know, I really did put off gluing her in and gluing all these pieces together, because it felt like such a monumental thing. Before that, nothing was too precious. Everything could be snipped off. I could snip those buttons off. I could do whatever I needed to do, but putting this glue in makes it so much more final that, yeah, it was a struggle. So as you can see, I started by putting the flower on the can, the Starno can. And then I'm trying to get the flower into the moss up there. Because, again, I didn't really want to glue it directly to the moss. And if it was, I wanted to make sure everything was super secure. You don't see me over here clapping my hands going super secure. But that's what I was doing. So then I wanted to line up those wings, get them kind of evenly spaced on there. So what I'm going to do is take a pencil and put a line where the wings need to go. So you can see I'm trying to like say, okay, this one goes here, but y'all, I can see that it is not lined up the same way as the one on the left, and that bothers me a little right now. Did I do that? Maybe I was just trying to keep it from being because wings aren't always going to be exactly splayed out symmetrically every time. So it's okay. It's okay. Y'all, I have to convince myself of this stuff all the time. I'm trying to get the E6000 on all of the areas that are exposed, that'll make contact, so that and then line it up on those little lines I drew. Those are parts that I knew would be hidden in the behind the dress and everything. So I'm going to do the same thing over on this left side. Again, I don't know why I have it touching that way. I do like that the one on the right has some space between the wall. Yeah. Oh, I did fix it. Look at me. Oh my gosh. Has some space between the wall and the wing, so that it has that definition, because if it's up against the wall, it's not going to be there. So I think either my battery must have ran out or something, so I skipped ahead here. I'm trying to go in with a toothpick and pick up some of the glue that has seeped under that right wing, and now I'm going to do the left wing. Yeah, that battery must have died, or something happened, or I had to stop to go do something. Who knows? Like I said, that was like 6 months ago. How has 6 months passed? I'm currently working on the 21-day project, which it comes from Lindsay at the 100-day project, or maybe she has a team, I'm not sure, but they're doing a fall 21-day project, just a small 3-week project just to get something done. And what I'm doing, y'all, is trying to clean up. Since the 100-day project has ended, I've also done iCAD, which I've got videos of as well. And what else have I done? I did the other version of Seek, Gather, Create. And there seems like there was something else. It seems like it's been one challenge after another challenge, and all of my spaces. And on top of that, I've been like making art for the gallery and buying books that I'm going to be putting in my Etsy shop, and just making and making, and things have piled up to the point that I am a little bit bonkers. So I'm working on cleaning some of that. All right, so before I glued the dress, I wanted to make sure that that wire frame was secured to the dress, so that I wasn't just gluing the dress and it would be floppy and could slip out. So I took some more of that crochet thread and tied it to the dress in the back to secure it. And and I knew the dress needed to go in before the head, because if I tried to put the head in first, it was not gonna, I might not leave enough room. So you'd see me delaying it here, me fetzing with things, kind of looking at things. I'm like, okay, well, do I need to do something else? Oh, can I do this? I reach. Look at me. I'm like, and I've grabbed my Fabri-Tac here to do this, because I am gluing a fabric to the surface, and I thought maybe it would be a kinder adhesive. And this was so so monumental. And I think I said that I was doing E6000, but any adhesive that I put in here, just, it's going to mess up that side of the dress. It's going to whatever. And I'm putting more of the Fabri-Tac within the box, because with most adhesives, if you put it on both surfaces, you have a stronger connection than if you just put it on one. So there was a bit of a gap. I'm sorry, that's way down there at the bottom of the screen. I was really focused on what I was doing and not on the camera. So I'm going to take the E6000 and also glue the bottom of the dress so it doesn't slip up, so you see her under things. So I'm going to glue that down. I'm holding it for just a second to make sure it does what it's going to do. And then next I've got the head. So because that is metal, and I need something a little bit stronger. I felt that the E6000 was the right adhesive, and I am loading it up there. And it fits pretty well right between those wings. So kind of futzing with everything. So once that's down, do you see how fast I was like, okay, now we're going to work over here on the left side, so I don't have to think about this right side anymore. And I'm going right in with that little dollhouse wreath, putting the E6000 straight on it. And of course I put it on it so that I can put it where I want it to go, as opposed to try to put that glue on the box, because it might be the wrong area. And you saw it flopped almost immediately. It did, because of gravity, it wasn't going to stay there. And so I know I needed gravity as a weight for this. So I put it off to the side while I put my my little flowers that I die cut in here. I don't think I put it on camera, but I do want to mention that for each of those flowers, I did take some distress ink on an ink blender and darken the edges just a little bit, so that they would all have that little bit of distress that I did for everything, well, most everything else. So those flowers did get a little bit of edging distress. So, and again, because I'm working in that box, I'm sorry, my head is gonna be like just popping in and out. You get to see some of my gray hairs. I am so very sorry. All right, once I got all of those in there, I do turn the box up and down just like this, so that I can get that little wreath in there. And once I get it in there and let it dry, I'm going to give you a quick look at the finished assemblage box, and that's it. Oh my gosh, this was such a process. 9 days of this. I think my next project will I can't remember what it is. I'll have to go look. It's probably something a little bit quicker, because after I did these longer projects for the 100-day project, I wanted something super quick. So yeah. All right, guys, I'm going to give you a quick look at this along with several pictures. Again, as I've mentioned before, some of these pictures may be awkward because I did have to pull some of them from Instagram. So I apologize for that. Oh, and this box I'll show you here, does close even after I've got everything. So it can be toted just like a doll box. I appreciate you coming by, spending this time with me and watching this process. If you have any questions at all, please don't hesitate to ask. As always, if you like this, make sure to give me a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. I will see y'all later. Thanks for watching. Bye.